There we go. All right, guys. I just finished playing The Ascent, a game that was tougher than I. Everybody said it was tough, and I kind of didn't poo-poo the idea, but I have to admit it is a tough game. It is one that's really not easy to play, but it's very old school. So let's start. So as a game as a whole, can I say that I would recommend it or that it's good? I personally think I really like it. I don't think I actually do really like it. I like it a lot because it reminds me of um, old school um, twin stick shooters. You know, the old Ninja Gaiden or the old games that you have to do over and over and over and over, like sections you have to do over and over and over again until you get really good at it, and then you end up passing that section. So yes, it's more difficult, but it makes it that much more rewarding when you actually do finish it and you're able to accomplish finishing a section. So I have to say that in general, I do like this game. Um, there are a few things that are not perfect, but I said this during my streams. It's a really good base, and I actually had said this about the Outer Worlds as well. And they actually managed to in the second DLC. They managed to do a much better job. So even by that point, you saw improvements. So here I think it's the same thing. The Ascent is a good game, not great, but it's a good game. That's a good foundation for a second game. If they just make a few tweaks here and there, I think it's gonna be just fine. Um, so let's go. The graphical side of things, the CGI. The game looks fantastic. I wanted to explore everything in the game. I wanted to go everywhere in every apartment. It felt lived in, which is amazing. Now I know that the way that the game was made, it's slightly different from like a first-person shooter, for example, because a lot of the stuff was static. So they're able to make things look a lot better than normal, than usual. But having said that, they went through a lot of pain to make it as detailed as possible, and I really appreciated it. I don't I wanted to live in that world. Actually, if I could, I would actually do just the side missions and just the side missions uh, for this, and I'll be very happy with it. So it's really fun. I really enjoyed it. So from a visual perspective, fantastic. Story wise, everybody was saying that it's weak. It's not. It's not weak per se. It's just it's not. I mean, if you're expecting like a deep story that goes deep into and touch, no, it's not that kind of game. It's like an '80s action movie. Yeah, there's a plot, but you're there for the action. That's basically what it comes down to. So, from a story perspective, I know everybody put the game down because the story wasn't that great. I personally loved it. I liked it a lot. It was fun. There's a few quirky moments with the side missions and the people you interact with. I actually don't know how people could finish this game in 12 hours, honestly, because I think it's taken me about 20, 22. And yeah, that's. I know there's parts in there where I was talking, but let's say it took me about 20 hours. Um, so from that perspective, I really like the graphics. I story didn't bother me, to be honest. It could have been maybe better, sure, but I mean, whatever. I didn't play this like I didn't play this like it's a Witcher 3 or or any like other big blockbuster game. I played this because it's fun and I knew it was a twin stick shooter essentially. Um, so the way that I would compare the game, probably it's so I'm going to talk about the gameplay now. The gameplay is it's kind of mixture of a twin stick shooter mixed in with the asymmetric view from Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and so on. With a twin stick shooter aspect, but also there's an RPG element to it. And it's the type of RPG that for me, I like. So the RPG, it's not, you can upgrade there's a ton of guns that you can get. You can upgrade them. You can grab components for them and fix them up. You can, improve on them. I love that. You don't get to build your own weapons, which some people might find, there's no unique weapons or anything really that you can construct. I personally, it's the type of RPG, so it's an RPG light in the sense that yes, you level up, you have XP, you have abilities, you enter your skill points in different categories to make yourself a little bit more powerful. That's fine, but I think that for me it was perfect. I loved it. I didn't have to think too much. Basically, I mean, there's no disadvantage to any gun you take. It just depends on how much you upgrade it or I would say if you had to play this game, just stick to one to three guns and upgrade those all the way to the end. I would suggest one bullet, like regular bullets, automatic, and then one energy weapon that's automatic, and you'll get through the game no problem. Um, I did like the aspect that you have like the headgear, and then you could choose. That was probably the thing that you had to tweak the most, because it will make a difference if, let's say, you're in a fight which has more energy weapons towards you, and you don't have as much resistance for energy. Obviously, your energy your health bar is going to go all the way down. If you're more equipped and you're more protected to take on that energy weapon, then you'll be better off. So sometimes you'll get into a fight, and then you'll have to tweak it as you go along to get through that fight, which I did appreciate. And that's the thing I liked it too. You had to hammer out going through each fight or each section, and you had to just go on top of it over and over and over again, um, until you get through it. So I did like that aspect of it as well. So you have the weapons. You can choose your clothing, which is your headgear, your torso, and your pants. Um, there's a bit of customization you can do, like how your character looks. Whatever. I really didn't care for that. Really, I just went. I think it's the default I put, or if I did, I just chose random things. Uh, the one thing I have to say that was a bit of a disappointment to me was the map. It took a while for me to get used to the map. So a lot of maps, when you look at them, you press whatever button, and then you're able to zoom out, which you have this ability here. But moving the map around, uh, I always pressed the wrong button because I was used to a certain thing, and um, and that really, like, it took me a while to actually get used to it. To be honest, so like for me, it was you know, a bit touch and go at the beginning, but I got used to it for sure. Anything that you don't get used to, you'll get used to it pretty quickly with the game. It's just a matter of playing through it a little bit, and you'll be fine. Um, the game is just long enough. It's not too long. It's not too short. I think it's worth the money to buy it. Um, what else can I say? The one thing about the game that I would say that's a little bit disappointing is that there's a lot of repetitiveness. Like there's horde modes, right? You get into a section and then it's just horde mode. It's enemy attacking after one after the other for a determined amount of time. And the way that the play, the gameplay, the story plays out or that section plays out is always random. So sometimes you'll get an easier way, and sometimes you'll get like something really difficult at the beginning, and then like you'll see if you were watching the channel tonight, you saw that I was having like it wasn't consistent on even the final boss. There wasn't any. It wasn't consistent. Like sometimes it was really simple, and then sometimes it was really difficult. So I don't know exactly what to do with that, or what to say about that. It was just like it's a luck of the draw. So it's basically like hammer out as much as you can, and then you'll eventually get through it, right? Um, the final fight, without being disappointing, was disappointing. And what I mean by that is that the final fight was challenging, which is fine, which is what I expected for a final fight. But when you're beating the actual boss, which would think would be the toughest thing to beat, it was super easy to beat her. And I don't understand why. I had more difficult with other sections because there was a section boss, I guess, and that used to be part of the tough. No, it used to be part of the reason why it was tough. But she was like super easy, and that sounded wrong. um, it was just that the final fight was just way too easy to beat that final boss. It was like one punch, and I did a super punch, a hydraulic punch, or a hydraulic slam, and she was dead. Then you have to fight the horde that comes towards you. That makes everything more challenging. But I expected the actual boss fight to be the actual fighting of the boss to be a little bit more difficult. That was a little bit disappointing. Again, the various sections in the game is actually absolutely stunning. When you see actual daylight and you go outside and it's sunny and you see above the clouds how nice it is, that was beautiful, and I didn't expect that. I expected it to stay in a dark, rainy section, and it didn't stay there. And I was really, really appreciative of that. It was really cool seeing that. And the same thing with more defined, less, uh, you know, when you're in the actual, ascent, or the area that you're in, cluster 13 or whatever. The level of detail is amazing, but I love the polish of when you go into like a corporate office and there's data there. You could pick up some data stuff all over the place. The one thing I have to admit that I'm super stunned about, apparently a lot of people were playing this game. However, I don't know if they're not playing it on the Xbox per se, because every achievement I got was a diamond, which means that it's a very rare achievement. It's an achievement that's rare. And I'm pretty sure it used to be based on if a lot of people, like how many, if let's say 1% of the people used to get that particular achievement, that was a diamond because it was only 1% of all the player base. And every achievement I got was diamond, which leads me to believe not a lot of people played it, or they found it too difficult and they let the game. But even the first mission, I had that diamond. So I don't know. It's weird. I didn't really know. I don't really know how to say it, what to say about that. The side, so you have the main character that doesn't really speak. It's very simple, simple dialogue. But I did appreciate the sidekicks. I did appreciate the banter between, the side characters. The fact that they voiced so many actors to me is stunning because it was a team of, I don't know. So I don't know if it's 10 or 12. It keeps changing every time I watch something. So I'll go with 12. It still makes it impressive. The fact that they made something look so good, engaging, and have everything voiced is impressive to me. And I would be looking forward to an Ascent 2, flat out. And I'm actually thinking of maybe buying it because this is on Game Pass. I got it on Game Pass because it was on Game Pass day one. But I want to probably buy it eventually if the price goes down a bit. And that's the game, and that's the beauty of Game Pass for me. Game Pass is a way for me to rent the movie, rent stuff before, without actually doing, without actually paying for anything. And then if I like it, I buy it. I did that with The Outer Worlds. I did that with The Observer. Turing Test. No, Turing Test, it was Games with Gold. Sorry, but it is on Game Pass though as well, and I would probably have bought it if it was the case. Um, so yeah, all in all, I think the Ascent is a decent game. Like I mentioned, it's a good foundation for them to build on, and I hope that they have a second one. It's it reminds me of old school, and I think people think so. I was frustrated, and as you can see on the stream, you'll see that I was frustrated. But I it was a good frustration. It was a frustration that comes from a lot of people, and I've read this. I forget who wrote this, but they wrote an article thinking, games are too easy today. Oh, it's a YouTube channel. I forget the name of it. It's actually pretty good. I should bring it up at one point, but he was saying, are games too easy today? Because it's true. Like first person games technically are not really difficult. They're not that challenging, even at normal difficulty, anyways. Yeah, there could be challenging parts, but it's not super difficult. The old school games where it is super difficult to finish a game, like a Ninja Gaiden, games that were, what's it called? Battletoads. Games that are difficult to actually, they're known to be difficult games. But again, it was a difficult game, but it didn't feel like it was sadistic. You always felt like you could have gone there. Yeah, the first maybe 5 to 10 tries were like, meh. But after that, it was fine. So I personally like the game. I recommend it. I think that everybody would have fun with this game. It looks absolutely stunning, and I'm sure that if you have a 4K TV with UHD and everything else, it would look fantastic. I have a 1080p TV, and it looked awesome. I mean, if it looked awesome for me, I'm sure it looked awesome. It would look awesome on that TV. So I recommend it. I think it's a good game, and I hope that you guys liked my playthrough. If you guys want to read my reviews, you can go to aroundtable.ca. We also have a YouTube channel, aroundtable.ca as well. Very original. Yeah, you can also follow me at Corporate Gamer. I'm on YouTube as well. Corporate Gamer 9 on Twitter, as you can see at the bottom. And yeah, have a wonderful evening, everyone. That was my CG mini review for the Ascent. If you have any comments or anything, let me know. Message me. I'm on every platform, and you can comment on my YouTube channel. So have a good one, guys. Ciao.